Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shakira Arisa, and for our design procedure for the nutrition intervention, we chose the elderly population because Malaysia is predicted to be an aging population by 2030. So I'm going to start with the D in design procedure. So D stands for decide behavior. So for the issues and behavior of concerns, through National Health and Morbidity Survey 2018, we found that more than half of the elderly people are either overweight or obese. This is very worrying as elderly tend to have worse effect of diseases due to their old age. These are some examples of the articles that showed that elderly has higher burden for cardiovascular risk factor, and the risk is also increased in obese people. Thus, we look for nutritional interventions and found journals that stressed on replacing saturated fatty acids or trans fatty acids with unsaturated fatty acids in obese and overweight people. So, a systematic review of 15 RCT studies stated that cutting down saturated fatty acids led to a 17% reduction to the risk of cardiovascular disease. Through possible assessments, we think that this might be due to the lack of nutrition knowledge, the high sulfur eating pattern, the availability of high sulfur foods, and also sedentary lifestyle. So from these factors, our behavior change goal is to reduce the saturated fatty acid intake among Malaysian elderly.
Thank you to Ms. Shakira. Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Siti Nur Amanina and I'm going to continue the presentation of Explore Determinants of Change. The first part of motivational theory-based determinant, our group chose to use health-building model for the behavior of lack of knowledge. The elderly are lack of knowledge regarding the healthy diet and the determinant for this behavior is perceived susceptibility. For the second behavior of change, which is sedentary lifestyle, the elderly have a sedentary lifestyle as they don't exercise due to lack of time and they think they are unable to do exercise anymore. And the determinant for this behavior is perceived barrier. Next, for the facilitating theory-based determinants, our group chose to use social cognitive theory for the third behavior of concerns, which is the wide availability of high sulfur food in the community. The determinant for this behavior is barrier or impediments. For the fourth behavior of concern, which is high sulfur eating pattern, the elderly have been eating the high sulfur food in their whole life, so they had a hard time to reduce that kind of eating pattern. And the determinant for the behavior is self-efficacy. That's all from me. I'm going to pass to the next member.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And hi everyone, I am Siti Nurani Zahani. So next I'm going to explain on the S part of this case study, which is like theory and clarify philosophy. Based on the health belief model and social cognitive theory used in the determinant of the behavior change in this case study, we combine both of this theory and come out with a theory model as shown here. It involves person, behavior, and outcome, which also include the efficacy expectation and outcome expectation. These theory models show the distinctive between the outcome and the efficacy expectation are important because both are required for behavior change. So for our case, in order for the elderly, which is the person, to reduce the daily intake of saturated fatty acid in their diet, which is the behavior, for lowering the risk of overweight and obesity that may lead to chronic diseases, here we can see the outcome. They must believe that having a good knowledge and increased physical activity will benefit their health. Here is the outcome expectation. And also that they are capable of maintaining a healthy diet and active lifestyle. So here we can see the efficacy expectation. Thus, from here, we come up with a theory model for our case study as shown below.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nurana Binti Zaidi and I'm going to continue the presentation with letter I, which refer to indicate general objectives. For motivational determinants, the first objective is participants will be able to understand more about the risks of SAFA and benefits of PUFA, and secondly is to increase physical activity level among participants. Next, for facilitating determinants, the general objectives are to increase participants' confidence in changing their eating habit to healthiest ways, and lastly is to encourage the elders to choose and prepare healthy foods that consist of lower fat content. Next, we proceed with the letter G, which refer to generate plan. For motivational determinants, we plan to hold a talk program where in this program we can talk about PUFA and SAFA and the diseases associated with high SAFA intake. Therefore, it can increase participants' knowledge about the benefits of PUFA and the risk of SAFA consumption. Furthermore, we plan to organize an aerobic session where we can do various activities such as Zumba or Pocho and 10,000 steps of walking. We also can teach the elders a simple workout that they can do at home. By doing this, the elders can change their sedentary lifestyle by increasing physical activity level. We move to the facilitating determinants where we can do grouping sharing session among participants. We can invite the veteran person who practicing healthy lifestyle to give some sharing about their diet and lifestyle. From this, it can boost up elders' confidence to practice healthy lifestyle. Lastly, the activity that we plan is cooking demonstration. We can show demonstration of cooking recipe that is low in fat to the elders. Then we can do taste test by giving them the opportunity to try and taste the foods. Besides, we also can share simple healthy recipes with them. If they like it, they'll definitely want to try making it at home. So, all activities that I mentioned earlier are under specific nutrition education program that is done for the elderly to encourage them to reduce saturated fatty acid intakes in their daily life. Well, that's all from me. I will pass the presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Fatin, so I will continue for the last part, which is nail down the evaluation plan. There are three outcomes to be measured, which is there are some increase or improvement in knowledge about fat among the participants, the motivation of the participants to do physical activity are increasing, and lastly, there are some decrease in high fat intake, especially saturated fatty acids, in daily diets of the participants. The tools to measure the outcomes are survey and questionnaire. We can give the survey to the participants before and after implementing the program, and we can see whether there are some changes or improvement after the program. Then next, we can give a FFQ, which is the food frequency questionnaire. It is a dietary assessment tool which questions that estimate frequency and portion size of the foods that we eat over a specific period of time. We can give it to the participants before the program and give it again after a month of the program, so we can see whether there are some changes in the fat intake after a month. Next is process evaluation tools to measure how the session went. Process evaluation is a process that determines whether program activities have been implemented as intended and resulted in a certain output. It is also to monitor how well is the program activity and plans are working. The first process evaluation tool is feedback forms. Participants can give their feedback and rate the effectiveness of the program. Next, we can do structure observation with the staff of the program. We can make some checklists regarding the flow of the program and the material used. It is to check whether the program is being implemented as designed and acceptable to the target population, which is elderly. We also can get the feedback from every staff regarding the program. By that, we can find the strength and the weakness of our program. Lastly, we do the structured interview with the participants after the program. We can ask about their feelings and ask them about the feedback about the program. So by that, we can know whether they are enjoying our program or not.
So this is our reference. Thank you.